Look, it's time for the Hawkeyes. It's time for week 4. Don't get it twisted. I might have a bird on my hat, but it's not a Hawkeye because we hate Iowa predictions today.
You are Locked On Golden Gophers, your daily podcast on the Minnesota Golden Gophers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What up, Gopher fans? You're listening to Locked On Golden Gophers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. My name is Kane Rob, host of the podcast, former collegiate football video coordinator and recruiting assistant, here to talk Golden Gophers with you each and every day of the week, Monday through Friday. Now, we've had a little bit of hiccups this week. The microphones didn't want to work. We just had all sorts of things going off, but we are back. We are getting the prediction show going. I have a witness here who can hear me, so if somehow this audio still ain't working, then I don't know what to tell you. But Tristyn, the Gophers are 2-1. They smacked up on Nevada. Your boy was nervous about that one. I thought it was going to be a tight one. You thought it was going to be a bigger win, and it ended up being a blowout. So You won that one. I'm going to be happy about it because you know what? I'm glad they proved me wrong. But how are you feeling after a 27-0 beatdown on the Nevada Wolfpack?
Well, I warned you. I warned you that I was going to be all the way back in, and I am all the way back in. I have never been more excited for an Iowa week. After coming off of those two games, usually it feels like we get Iowa later. After we've kind of had a couple of, rough games. And I mean, we had North Carolina, obviously, but now that we've had two beatdowns, I'm fully ready.
He's fully back in. He's not halfway in. He's not dipping his toes in. That boy cannonballed into the pool of Gophers hype. But I wanna test your knowledge a little bit here. You're not ready for this. You didn't know this was coming. So the listeners need to know this is all raw and all real. But we're gonna play guessing Gophers leaders through the first 3 weeks. So I want to know, who do you think is leading this Gophers team in tackles right now through 3 weeks?
Oh, see, this is tough because I actually did do some research.
Snap.
Yeah. So not a lot of research. I promise the people I will never do too much research. I will always sound kind of like an idiot.
All natural.
Is it Kerry Brown?
It's not Kerry Brown.
Never mind.
It is Maverick Baranowski is the leader of tackles right now. 17. I believe he has 1 or 2 more than Cody Lindenberg, who is in second. All right, so then now I'm going to ask you, how many sacks do the Gophers have on the season so far? Hold up. Let me back that up. It's the same answer either way, so I guess I could have stuck with the question, but how many players have registered a sack? So how many different players have gotten a sack for the Gophers? And it's actually the same amount as the total number of sacks that the Gophers have.
Is it 5?
No, it is 7. They have 7 sacks so far. And with that, staying on the sack train, who leads the team in sacks?
Oh, that one I couldn't tell you. Is it? Oh, give me. Yeah, I couldn't tell you.
Go with your gut. Just do it.
It's not. Is that not? Who's the corner who had the sack this week? He had 2 of them this week. Did he not?
1.5. But yeah.
Is it Kerry Brown?
Nope, not Kerry Brown. Jack Henderson. He is tied with 1.5 sacks, tied with Danny Sturgow for the leader of sacks. So, Jaw Joyner, if you're listening, boy, we got to turn it up. We got to get to 10. I know you can do it. You've been getting a lot of pressures. You went crazy. 5 pressures this last week, but did not register a sack, according to ESPN. Maybe they're off. I could be wrong. But, all right, who are the top 3 in receiving yards for the Gophers right now?
Daniel Jackson.
Correct.
Elijah Spencer.
Correct. Can he get number 3?
Not a chance. It's not Lemecki, is it?
Nope. Darius Taylor is number 3 for the Golden Gophers.
I was thinking wide receivers.
He is at 85 receiving yards. Last year, his total was 92, so he is almost already caught up to what his total was. Granted, he only played 6 weeks last year, but get this, Elijah Spencer played in a ton of games last year, and he has already doubled his yardage from last season, 135 yards so far. So all those people talking about drops, all those people talking about Elijah Spencer is number 2, back that thing up, say your apologies, and keep letting this boy ball out because he finds the holes in a zone like he is Shia LaBeouf back in the day, all them holes. But overall, the last one I have for you, Who leads the Gophers in total touchdowns right now? So passing, receiving, running. Who has the most touchdowns on this Gophers roster?
Is that Darius Taylor?
It is Darius Taylor.
There it
4
is.
touchdowns. Max Brosmer has 3 passing touchdowns, so Darius Taylor leads the way. I also had a fun one for you. How many catches did Daniel Jackson have last week?
Did he have 9?
No.
Less?
He had 4 catches. Again, 4. All 3 games he has had catches. Vegas is loving that 4 receptions line because everybody's hitting over and under, and they're like, nah, hit that push, bro. We got this. 4 catches every single time. But getting away from the questions, how legit is this defense? You're talking about back-to-back shutouts for the first time since 1962. I mean, our parents weren't even born yet at that time. This Gophers team is balling on defense. How are you feeling about the defense overall?
This defense is the real deal, Holyfield. It is electric. This is like how they're playing these last 2 games is exactly what we kind of talked about going into North Carolina and what our expectations were and how they performed last year and how they could build upon it. And they're showing it this week, like our last week and the week before. Like they look like a group of veterans who have been playing together for a while.
Yeah, and there's so many people that are stepping up too. It's not just like one or two. It's not just like Cody Lindenberg, Justin Wally. That's it. No, you've got Kerry Brown balling out. You got Coy Parrish with an interception on the season. You got Jack Henderson balling out. Danny Strigow, Josh Joyner, Devin Eastern. I can keep going. Maverick Baranowski leading in tackles. Like this team and this defense is deep, and that is what is encouraging. Now you could say they haven't played a ton of people. Blah blah blah. North Carolina has an All-American running back, so I mean. They played a dude on that team. When it comes to FCS schools, Rhode Island has been a winning program for the last 3 years, so it's better than the cupcakes that others were playing, like Illinois State for Iowa or some of these other teams. Akron, I guess Akron's probably an FBS school, but regardless, they play like an FCS school. So overall, those 2 have been quality opponents. The Nevada team beat Troy, who Iowa just struggled with this last week, and they have played a tough game against SMU, who is an ACC opponent. So overall, yes, it's not the top tier type programs that you are playing in these early stages, but nobody is really. So the Gophers have done well with who they have played so far. They're 5th in the nation in total defense, 20th in the nation in rush defense, 8th in the nation in pass defense, and 5th in the nation in scoring defense. They're also tied for 5th in the nation in turnovers. That's a lot of 5s. That's a lot of top 10s in all of those major categories. And they're taking on an Iowa offense that, yes, is improved, but let's not act like they're Ohio State. Let's not act like they're Oregon. Like they're still not amazing. And their best element is actually running the ball. So that's one of my concerns this week is Caleb Johnson. He leads the entire country in rush yards heading into this week. And the craziest thing is he started the year as the 3rd string running back. He played the second game as the 2nd string running back, and he had his first start of the year in the last game, but he's broken 100 yards in every single one. He has 479 yards in 3 games so far. So it's going to be like playing North Carolina's running back all over again. Hopefully the Gophers can capitalize and not miss all the tackles like they did the 20 tackles they missed in week 1. And if they clean that up, I think we could be talking about some Gophers victories over here. How are you feeling overall?
You hit the nail on the head. That's exactly what I'm thinking. When I was kind of going through and I just kind of glanced at stat lines as how I went with Iowa, because I'm going to tell you right now, there's not a chance I was sitting down and watching an Iowa football game. And so by choice, not happening. And so I do think it'll be a dogfight. Like obviously this game I don't think this will be a blowout by any means, but I can confidently say I'm way more hopeful this year playing Iowa than I have been in a while, especially with the way we're trending. And I mean, yes, like you said, I was getting better, but it feels like our trajectory is a little bit higher than where they're at right now. And not to sound overly confident, because still, again, this is Iowa. They have good players, but it just something feels different about it. If we can put everything together, I'm very confident that we're going to get a win.
Tristyn is walking a dangerous line in which we look back on this show and we say, what have we done? We've jinxed it all. But I'm with you. I think that the Gophers overall are in a good spot. I think Iowa is in a pretty good spot as well, but they've both dropped games that they should have won. Iowa should have beat Iowa State, but they gave it away. Minnesota should have beat North Carolina, but they gave it away. Now, this is a primetime night game, but think about how primetime it would be if both of these teams were 3-0, but they couldn't get the job done.
Tough.
But I want to know your spicy take for this week, if you have any. Now, I did get a message from a listener who said they had a bone to pick with you because you said you did not have a spicy take last week. And then at the end of the show, you said the offensive line was going to play clean and be the unsung hero. He said that is a spicy take from what we've seen of this offensive line.
Okay.
So now he wants a real spicy take from you this week.
I do have one because I knew I didn't have one last week. And so I was thinking about it today. PJ opens the playbook.
Oh,
PJ opens the playbook. We know if there's one thing we know about PJ, it's he's never ever going to show or say anything any earlier than he has to, right? So now we're at week 4. We're finally in Big Ten play. What better week than to be like, oh yeah, by the way, we are damn near an air raid offense or something crazy like that. Like we got a new quarterback and he's going to sling it. Like this isn't going to be Big Ten Minnesota, Iowa of old with 200 rushes the game. He opens the playbook and lets that thing fly. That's my spicy take this week.
All right, you're not going to like my spicy take, but it's kind of two. So you'll like one half, you won't like the other half. The half you won't like is I think that Minnesota gets out-rushed in this game. I think that Iowa out-rushes the Gophers, which you don't love to hear. But that being said, I think Iowa has 2 turnovers in this game to Minnesota, and turnovers have been the difference in these matchups for years and years. So if the Gophers can actually have 2 turnovers, I think they have a really good chance at winning this game. I'm stoked. We're going to dive into predictions for this Iowa thing. The last thing I want to talk about, though, is how do you feel about the next 4 games on Minnesota's schedule? You have versus Iowa this week. Then you go on the road for the first time in the season against Michigan. Then you come back home and you take on USC. And then you go on the road once again to California, your first California trip of the new Big Ten era to UCLA. How are you feeling with that gauntlet the Gophers have coming up?
Yes, this is the point of where I was going to get nervous. But remember, I already said if we get a couple of blowouts and if we play well against Iowa, Michigan doesn't look that good this year. Now, I mean, I did say that I think last time we played Michigan, I also talked ourselves into it. But
yeah, and then we lost that one big
exactly.
time.
This I think this is the tipping point for me. Like this week will be the tipping point of where I'm realistically going to sit on the rest of the season. Because man, we have some challenges. Like going on the road to the Big House is the first road game is tough, and it's like how often do we play 4 home games in a row? Is that pretty common or
no? I think usually the most you get is like 3 and then you hit the road, but 4 in a row and you kick off Big Ten play at home. It's nice. I'll take it. It also means we're going to be on the road a lot to close out this season.
Yes, which is tough. But I don't know. I'm this week I want to revisit this question next week because that'll really give me a full scope of what we're looking at, I think.
Well, we will be sure to revisit that next week, but we're going to go on to the predictions, which is what most people tune in for this show. So we'll be hitting that coming up next. All right, Gophers fans, a quick word from our friends over at eBay Motors because passion, drive, and patience is the winning formula for championships, but it's also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle. And look, your boy right now needs to maintain his vehicle. We had some weird noises coming from the truck today. We're bringing it to the shop. But if I need any parts, I'm going to eBay Motors because they've got superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights. Shoot, your boy might need a brake light on it as well. But eBay Motors has 122 million parts for your ride or die, so you'll find exactly what you're looking for over at eBay Motors. And with the eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money back. Because with eBay Motors, you are burning rubber, not cash. So with all the parts you need at prices you want, it's easy to turn your car into MVP and bring home the dub. So keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply, and the eBay Guaranteed Fit is for U.S. customers only. All right, we're diving in. We're talking predictions. I think this is going to be a fun one. So we're going to kick it off with how many touchdowns scored total, both Iowa and Minnesota. How many touchdowns total in this game?
I've also thought about this, and it's going to be 3. This is still going to be. It's going to be ugly. It's going to be ugly. I know I was talking about the high flying offense, which is going to be cool, but it's still going to be a battle. This is as Big Ten as it gets.
I'm with you. And before I give you my guess, I got to give you respect. We got the banner down on the bottom. Your boy is on the board. It is 2-1. Tristyn got the dub last week, and it was convincing. I mean, he had 10 points last week to my 5. So overall, Tristyn dominated in that segment, but I am determined to get back on the board. And so I'm going 4 touchdowns because I just want to one-up you just in case they decide to get the score going. But it's probably safer to go 2 because these teams just really don't put up points against each other. They might do it against other schools, but when they are playing Big Ten football against each other, they don't put up touchdowns. But what they do is kick field goals. So the next question is how many field goals scored total in this game?
This one is tough because it doesn't match up with my predicted score. So for the predictions win, I'm going to say 3. I'll say 3. It doesn't matter. No, give me 2. Give me 2.
All right. Well, I'm going to double up on you. I'm going 4 field goals in this game. Now, how does that add up for my final score? We will find out. We're going to add this up as we continue to ask these questions. But I've got 4 field goals in this game total. Now, the fun question we always got to take our swing on is who leads the team in tackles?
I'm thinking Jack Henderson this week again, just because we talked about the run, how dominant their run game is. So I think he's going to be right there.
All right, well, I'm going to take the tackle leader. I'm going to do it. Maverick Baranowski, you might be leading by a slim margin, but I believe in you. And I said Maverick Baranowski was one of my favorite players heading into the season, especially in this new defense. So I'm going to back my take up. I'm going to go with Maverick. But we're going to move on to how many turnovers does Minnesota force this week and who gets them? I'm going to go first. And I already said I think they're going to force 2 in this game. I had mentioned that earlier. I think they're both going to be interceptions because I do not believe in Cade McNamara. I think this dude's numbers look okay on paper, but if you watch him play, I'm like, bro, what are you looking at? Like, it's like most weeks or most years when we're talking about Gophers quarterbacks, I'm like, what are you looking at? But when I'm watching him, it's a different kind of different, if you know what I'm saying. So I'm going to go with 2 interceptions. I'm going to say Ethan Robinson gets another one. And because I don't know if Justin Wally's going to be there, I'm not going to go with him because I don't know. I think Jack Henderson is always a baller, but I'm not going to go with him. Kerry Brown just came off of 2 in this last game, but I'm going to go with my boy Zaquan Bryan. I think he's going to get on the board. He could have had one in week 1. I think he's going to make up for it in this game against Iowa, the rivals. Ethan Robinson, Zaquan Bryan, 2 interceptions. What do you got?
I was going to go with 1 interception just because I don't know how often they'll throw the ball, but I was feeling the exact same way about Cade McNamara. I'm not a believer. I'm not a believer. And I can't pretend like I've watched a ton of his games, but the games I have seen, he's just, I don't know. It doesn't move the needle for me. I am going to go with 1 and I'm going to take Kerry Brown again. I was going to go with Justin Wally. He was also there too, but it's so tough that we just have no clue.
Classic. We always don't know about the injuries. PJ's keeping those trade secrets like it is literally the government, your social security, what have you. That's what this is. Injuries to PJ Fleck are like your social security number. So hold on to that tight and don't give it to nobody. All right, we're going to talk about who scores the first touchdown. I'm going to go first because I think I usually let you go first on this one. And I'm going to say the first touchdown. I'm not going to go chalk. I'm not going to go easy. I'm going to say Marcus Major is going to be my pick for the first touchdown.
I am 100% going to go chalk, and Darius Taylor will score that first touchdown.
Yeah, I'm probably going to regret that, but I'm going to just go with my gut and believe.
That's fine. We never know. You never know.
And then the second one, I'm going to say tush push. Max Brosmer gets in the end zone.
Give me, I guess I don't want to go both the chalk. Give me Elijah Spencer.
There it is. All right. Well, those are the fun picks, but we got to get to the stars of this game, the players of the game on offense and defense. So what do you want to pick first? Do you want to pick first on offense or do you want to pick first on defense?
I will pick first on defense.
All right.
Yeah.
I will go first on offense then, and I'm going to take someone that, you know what, it could be chalk, but probably doesn't seem like it would be chalk. I'm going with Max Brosmer. Now, this is a dangerous pick because when Max Brosmer played against North Carolina, it looked like it was a little fast. Now, granted, it was game one. It was his biggest crowd he's ever played in front of. He looks like every week to week, he's been getting more and more comfortable. He's been reading the field faster, making the right decisions. Now, he did have an interception last week, but I think it was more of a miscommunication than a wrong decision. Max Brosmer is going to be up to speed in this game. I don't think he's going to get too rattled, too frazzled. Hopefully, fingers crossed. We're still at home. Now, when we go to the big house, it might be a different story. Hopefully not. He was an Ohio State fan, so maybe he has a special disdain for taking down the Michigan Wolverines. He'll do it like Quinn Ewers did it for his old school. But I'm going to go with Max Brosmer as my offensive player of the game. Who do you got?
I will go ahead and take the other guy, Darius Taylor, again, just because I think, obviously we talked about it. The running in this game is, from what we've seen in the past, he should be able to put up another bill on him. So
careful, because Iowa is the top 5 rushing defense right now in the country. So we'll see what happens there. But you go first with your defensive pick.
I like Ja Joyner this week. I think it's time for him to have a pop-out game. I'm talking maybe 2 sacks, like just a game wrecker, like getting in there and just causing, even on when the ball goes away, like he's causing mayhem in there.
I am going to go with Ethan Robinson. I think he is a man with a plan. I think he's on a mission. I think that he is just ready. And after getting last week's clinching, because look, Nevada was on track to go and score and that back-to-back shutout. And Ethan Robinson said, "Not today, sir. Not today. You didn't watch the film. You didn't watch the tape, but I did. And this is my ball." And I think he's going to go out and he's going to ball out and do the same thing to Cade McNamara. So Ethan Robinson's going to be my defensive player of the game. But what is your final score prediction for this rivalry nighttime primetime game for the Gophers versus Iowa at home?
This is going to be an explosion of offense.
High
flying. No, it's going to be 14-10. It's going to be 14-10. It's going to be a long, long game. It's going to be a dirty game. It's going to come down to the end. Maybe we go into it. We're trailing 7-10, score a touchdown in that fourth quarter. It's going to be a game. That's how it always is.
All right. Well, I am going to go higher than you. I'm going to go higher, and I'm going to say that this game is going to be 23-17 in favor of Minnesota. They get the win. Now, Gophers fans, I am not going to be on the hopium like Tristyn is if we get this dub. So embrace this prediction because I might be a little negative in the next couple weeks, and I hope I don't have to be, but we might be. So take this dub, 23-17 for the Gophers. And now we're going to dive into a couple final elements, the biggest concerns for this game, unsung heroes, and a little bit more coming up next. All right, Gophers fans, we got to talk about our friends over at America's #1 sportsbook, and that is FanDuel. You've heard us talk about them time and time again. That's because they are the best of the best. That's why they call them America's #1 sportsbook. But they have something a little bit different for you, and time is ticking. It is running out for this deal because now through September 22nd, which is only 3 days away, or I guess when you hear this, it'll be 2 days away, or you get where I'm going with this. All FanDuel customers can bet $5 and get 3-week free trial of NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. So you're definitely going to want to give it a try. That's, again, if you put a $5 bet down, you get 3 weeks free trial of NFL Sunday Ticket thanks to FanDuel. And all you got to do is have a YouTube TV base plan when you do it, and you will be able to watch every single regular season Sunday afternoon out of market game for the NFL. All you need is a Google account and a current form of payment, and you can cancel at any time. So just visit FanDuel.com and download America's #1 sportsbook, FanDuel, official sportsbook of Locked On. All right, so we're going to help people, or we're going to try to help people win some more money. We had some easy lines that we just absolutely crushed last week. I think the only one we didn't get right was the Daniel Jackson over 4 receptions because, of course, he got right on at 4 receptions.
That's a push. A push is a win. Push is a win.
Look, I think that the line makers were a little disrespectful this week to the Gophers, if I'm being honest, and I am ready to take the over on almost everything.
Well, you already know I probably was
get ready for these lines. Max Brosmer over under 168.5 yards passing.
Yeah, that's an over. I mean, even if we just stay the same way we've been playing ball the last two games, it's going to go over.
And if you just looked at the box score from last week, you'd see like 191 yards and you'd be like, well, that's kind of close to 160. And like, I was a lot better in Nevada, so it's kind of risky. No, slow your roll. When we played Nevada, Max Brosmer had 195 passing yards in the first half. The Gophers just stopped passing the ball. And when they did pass the ball, they were passing backwards to just keep the safe catches going and ended up losing like 4 yards. Don't overthink it. Max Brosmer is going to get 169 yards. I am willing to bet that. Now, will he get 250 yards? I would not be comfortable there. But 168.5, yes, lock me in. And on top of that, they have Max Brosmer's over under for touchdown passes at 0.5. So they're saying he's either going to get none or he's going to get one. I feel like it's just a little disrespectful. Now, we did say that you thought the total touchdowns would be 3, and I thought it would be 4. So I guess if you're saying that, maybe you're saying the Gophers only score 2 touchdowns rushing, and then you don't get that opportunity. But I think going over on this, I would feel pretty comfortable. I think the Gophers are going to throw a screen or something in the red zone and help Darius Taylor get in or help Daniel Jackson get in or something. So I would take the over. How about you?
I agree with that 100%. And I don't see why. Like I said, I think PJ might open the playbook if we go run and we get a 3rd and long situation. There's a good chance we might pass the ball this week, and that's usually not the case.
All right, so the next line, again, disrespectful in my eyes. Darius Taylor rushing yards over under is 79.5 rushing yards.
That's a hammer over. This is free.
Hammer the over.
If there was a way to parlay these together, we'd all be rich.
Take it to the bank, make it happen, run it to the box office. I don't know what you got to do, but you take the over on that one. Now, Luke Lachey, the Iowa tight end, his over under is 21.5 receiving yards. What do you have for the Iowa? The opponent, Luke Lachey, Iowa is tight end U. I'm going to give it to him. That's 21.5 yards is the over under.
Yikes, we're going to be on a bunch of overs. I do kind of like that line. It's not that many yards, and I think if our corners play well, those are the types of passes that are going to be let up, is those short little dump off passes. 10 yards here, 10 yards there.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think Luke Lachey has kind of had a slow season to start, but look, I'm not going to doubt Iowa tight ends. On top of that, if the Gophers secondary is shutting down the receiving options, or if we are going 100% all out to stop Caleb Johnson in the run game, which I could see the Gophers trying to do, just adding a hat to the box and saying, prove it. Beat us, Cade McNamara, like everybody has done to the Gophers for years and years. Well, I think the Gophers could do that to Iowa. And if they do, I think he will target this tight end, and 21.5 yards is not that many. So I'm going to take the over there. Now, this is the easy money. I'm writing over for both of us. I'm not even going to ask you to answer it. Dragan Kesich made kicks on over under 1.5. We're both taking the over on that because do you watch PJ Fleck coach games? He will kick at least 3 times. Even if he misses one, you already got the over.
We have faith. Dragan, we have faith.
We have faith. The final one, Daniel Jackson over under 38.5 receiving yards.
That's over. That's over.
It's over.
What are we?
We did a clean card. We're not going to separate each other at all on this one. We went over. So you know what? This is going to be like a 3-0 game now that we've said all this. It's going to be absolutely no receiving yards, rushing yards, or anything. And Dragan Kesich will only have 1 kick, but I don't care. Just give me the dub.
A win's a win.
That matters.
Win's a win. That's what I literally was looking at the score from last year, and I was just remembering and reminiscing that game, and it was nothing till those last 30 seconds, and then it was mayhem. But hey, a win's a win. We don't apologize for wins.
Yes, sir. Well, we're going to wrap it up with our final 3 questions. The first being, what is your biggest worry in this game?
My biggest worry is getting complacent and being comfortable. We won 2 huge games, but like we said, these are not Iowa. We did not play Big Ten opponents yet. And Big Ten football is different at any level. You could take any Big Ten team, and they will always compete against anyone. And so I'm nervous that we get complacent, like, hey, all we do is beat teams by 30, 40 points, when that's not the case. It can be a shock to the system when they're just kids. They're just kids out here. And it can be a shock when we're like, oh, okay, now we're playing real football.
Right. My biggest worry, it would have been easy for me to say missed tackles, seeing what Omarion Hampton did to us and seeing that Iowa has a really good running back, but it's not my answer. My biggest worry in this game, even though I picked him as my offensive player of the game, is Max Brosmer being up to speed. Because like I said, he did look frazzled in that North Carolina game. Again, tons of different circumstances there. His first game in front of a massive crowd on primetime TV against a power school. He hasn't been in live bullets because, practice, you're not going full force trying to murder the quarterback like UNC was trying to do. So there's a lot of first times in that segment. And I think I was better than North Carolina. That North Carolina team was ugly, plain and simple. Like, we should have won the game. Iowa's defense has historically been better than North Carolina for many, many years. So if Max Brosmer is caught sleeping, if Max Brosmer got too comfortable against the Cupcakes, that's where I start to worry if this speed is too quick, especially with the offensive line not playing fully up to par right now. But if he is up to speed, I think the Gophers can win this game handily. Now, I'm not saying like by 2 touchdowns or anything like that, but I think they can win by a touchdown or maybe even 10 points if Max Brosmer is playing at a high elite level. So that's my biggest worry. Now, what gives you confidence in this game?
That defense, the way that defense is playing, we ball hawk, everyone gets to the ball. I can't see a way where it's still going to be a battle, but I can't see where we lose if everyone on the defense is on the same page for the entire game.
I'm with you 100%. I literally wrote down how the defense has been playing is what gives me confidence. I saw somebody on Twitter that said it was an Iowa Hawkeye fan, of course. And, Iowa Hawkeye education, probably not the greatest out there. Iowans in general, like, I'm going to have everybody just absolutely downvoting this video because Iowa intelligence, not usually two things that go hand in hand.
They're going to be in here. Yep.
But, somebody commented on Twitter and was like, oh, that Gophers defense is going to be like Swiss cheese. And I'm like, bro, tell me you don't watch football this season without telling me you don't watch football. Yeah. This Gophers defense is not Swiss cheese. So
to be fair, in his defense, I've been a delusional fan before. And man, it's just fun to talk bad about your rivals. It just comes off the tongue so smoothly, no matter what. We hate Iowa. We hate them. They beat us. Yeah, they beat us sometimes, but we hate them.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, final one. Who is your unsung hero for this game? This doesn't necessarily mean your MVP. It doesn't mean the best player, but it's a player who has a big moment, a game-changing moment, a flipping of the field or what have you moment. Who is your unsung hero?
I want a big pass to Daniel Jackson. The game's kind of getting bogged down. It's been run, punt, run, punt, run, punt. And just a huge passing play to Daniel Jackson where the momentum kind of shifts. Like, we get a nice little 40, 50-yard game, big pass play. And maybe it's not a touchdown, but it really shifts the whole dynamic of the game to where we're like, all right, let's roll. Wakes the crowd back up because there will be many punts.
Speaking of many punts, that is my unsung hero. I think Coy Parrish, punt returner in true Cooper DeJean type fashion, is going to have a massive punt return. It might only be like 30 yards. It might be 40 yards or something. It might not be a touchdown, but he's going to have a field flipping punt return. And you know what? The biggest difference is going to be he's not going to pretend to wave for a fair catch. He's going to catch the ball. He's going to run. He is going to get yards, flip the field, and help this Gophers team without any questions.
We should have got some T-shirts made that just had the definition of fair catch on it. Just for this game, we would have done numbers. We'd be rolling in cash. That would have been great merch.
Somebody beat us to that punch. Us to that punch. Dinkytown athletes. So if you want to support your growth rate athletes and you want a shirt that Tristyn just described, Dinkytown athletes has you covered. Not only does it have the Floyd on the front, but on the back, it's got the definition of what an illegal fair catch signal is. So definitely go out there and buy it.
I love that,
boys. And lock in. It is rivalry week. Any last words for the people, Tristyn?
No, everyone get out there and enjoy this game. The weather's going to be nice. I'm pretty sure it's not too hot, not too cold quite yet. Get out there and just enjoy this. Beat Iowa, baby.
Beat Iowa. That's going to do it for us here at Locked On Golden Gophers. Be sure to hit subscribe, tap in. We are doing these predictions every single week. Hopefully, you'll get to see Tristyn's hopium against Michigan Wolverines next week as well. But until next time, row the boat, Sky, you might go Gophers as always. And please don't forget to hit subscribe.